Good afternoon. My name is Ajay Bailey. I work at the University of Groningen, and I have a chair position at Manipal University. And I'll explain. This was indeed one of the 6 projects that got funded in the first round. And thanks to Shak, whom I met at NVO when they were there, I'm going to talk about what did we learn from this project, how did we set it up. I'm not going to present so much the research component, but more how did we get this group together and what we learned, and maybe a few recommendations from this project. So these were the partners in this group. We had Population Research Center, University of Groningen, in collaboration with Professor Inge Hutter, who's now moved to ISS. Professor James, at that point at Institute Isaac in Bangalore, now at JNU. Professor Maria Ivandro from the University of Southampton, and Professor Irudayarajan from Center for Development Studies. You'll notice that 2 of these institutes are ICSSR institutes in itself. So what did we aim to do? So we were primarily demographers. So I'm going to say that right in the beginning. So there's monodisciplinary in that sense, but we come from very different backgrounds or different types of demography that we do. So establishment of a network on aging and demography and social policy, exchange of information and expertise on population aging and migration in a globalized context, intergenerational care, and advocating for a more participatory approach to healthy aging. Building complementary knowledge to create new insights, pooling together data sets, pooling together case studies. What we aimed to create was joint articles and proposals for further collaboration, capacity building, and mentoring of young researchers. This was one of the key points that all of our partners agreed to work together on. And academic work linking to both NGOs and policymakers, and I'll explain some of the challenges that we faced with that as well. Research output, through the 3 years, we have 10 research papers, 2 of which have been published. We are aiming for a special issue that will come out with the rest of the papers. We conducted 2 symposiums, one on cultural gerontology and the other on International Federation of Aging, at the International Federation of Aging. We did data collection of 2 case studies, one in Goa and the other in Kerala, especially aging in migrant households, because these 2 states have the highest immigration rates in India. We did 1 case study on institutional care in Kerala because we wanted to document what are these new spaces of care provision for older adults in India. And Kerala is one of the few states which has government-sponsored old age homes or care homes. We did also 1 case study in Netherlands because we wanted to have some kind of a comparative element. So we focused on Surinamese older adults in Netherlands, a part of the Indian diaspora in that sense, and we tried to compare institutional care and independent living in the context of Netherlands. We had research training workshops done at both in Bangalore and in Bombay as well. And slowly, in addition to our network that we started off with, we started to include other partners. For example, Tata Institute of Social Sciences came in later into this project. So as and when we started to develop, we involved more people into the network. We also did a lot of international research exchange, Indian partners mobility to Groningen and Southampton, European partners mobility to these 4 places, young scholar mobility, especially we designed a particular scholarship within the grant itself, which allowed for PhD students to come and use facilities in Groningen or in Southampton to analyze data, to write an article. So this gave them the opportunity to also consult with the expertise available, not just from the network coordinators, but also other people at these institutions. We started extending these grants to also new partners. So these are very short 3-month visiting grants. We did networking events in terms of seminar and proposal writing for new projects. We had a midterm meeting. We then again included new partners into the setup. And the final conference we organized with UNFPA, and Dr. Sanjay Kumar is here, who will talk about this collaboration as well. In addition to the networking activities and the research activities that we conducted, we also created a photo exhibition. So this photo exhibition, the data comes from our qualitative case studies that we did in Kerala and in Netherlands. And we converted the data and the photographs that we did as part of this case study into posters that we presented to different audiences. This was a very quick way. Usually what happens, you collect your data, you wait for analysis to take place, and then you publish your article. Well, we thought, let's create data products which we can share with people earlier in the process. And this photo exhibition, we also took to our participants, for example, in Netherlands, but also showed it at the final conference. We now use it for teaching, use of photography and use of visual skills in our methodology courses, and we have it as an open exhibition. In case someone wants to show this exhibition, they can ask us and we'll bring it to them. In addition to this grant, we also applied for the NVO VOTRO project, that's Migration Suitcase. This focused on skilled migrants and also migrant households between India and Netherlands. That was a collaboration between Ajay and Groningen. We asked the University of Groningen to match funds for 3 PhD students, where Ajay gave for 2 years, and we asked University of Groningen to give us 2 extra years on base of this Age Globe grant. So we had then went to look on for matching grants for these cases. These 2 of these PhD students did the case studies. So in that way, we built in junior researchers into the call. We extended our network beyond Age Globe to include other partners in the setting. More noticeably with Delhi University, we already had links, but we then brought them into this call, and we exchanged scholars between these places. NIDI came in. NIDI is Netherlands Interdisciplinary Demographic Institute in The Hague. What we did further, after the grant got over, we set up a transdisciplinary center for qualitative methods at Manipal University. This is one of the examples of an Indo-Dutch collaboration where the center is funded by Manipal University through a chair that is established on qualitative methods. We have also done winter schools, 2 winter schools, and an international seminar. These events were possible because we had these networks, because we could access these different groups of people, and there was commitment to continue. We were exploring with Isaac and with Tata Institute for Social Sciences. There is still interest to develop an international center for aging research, and we developed a concept note. We hope that comes through. We are strengthening joint PhD programs between Groningen, Isaac, CDS, and Manipal. What has been traditional pattern is that when you recruit students to come to Europe to study, some Indian universities think that we are poaching students away from them. We didn't want that. We wanted to have a more joint ownership in this process. So we said, let's do a joint PhD program, where 2 years you fund the program, 2 years we fund it. We have 1 supervisor from your side and 1 supervisor from our side. So in that way, the capacity is developed on both sides, and we get more mutual benefit out of it. The opportunities. Age Globe gave us a great opportunity for building this network. We knew each other, but we didn't really work with each other, and this gave us the possibility to work. It is a very instrumental grant as a seed grant to attract matching funds, and this was an example for us. It's excellent for capacity building of young researchers, especially PhD students, early career researchers, because they get this huge opportunity to have this exposure outside, to analyze data somewhere else, to get a new context. There are challenges. Grants for networking, hence no research time was included, so we had to dip into our own research time for these activities. Compatibility between teams across 4 or 5 different institutes, that you have to also take into account that they have different research times, research agendas. How do you match these into account? How do you still make sure that you're sometimes pulling and pushing? You need that to continue the process. Involvement of non-academic stakeholders, of course, we wanted that. That was one of our main objectives, but it's difficult because in the sense that if you see, most of our partners were academic partners. We didn't have a policy partner right in the beginning. And it was a bit odd to say that, okay, here we've done the research, now do something with it. We should have started much earlier in the process, and that was one of the challenges. Also with NGOs, we should have started earlier in the process of engaging them into the network. Sustaining networks across these different institutions was also problematic because people move. And when people move, the grants don't move with them. Grants stay with the institutions. So you have to have more institutional support than just individual supports over there. Recommendations. I would recommend hiring junior researchers and incorporating PhD students into research teams. Very rarely, younger scholars are included into research applications. I would suggest putting them into account, and also that research funders see this capacity building as an important element. Interdisciplinary groups, especially linking social sciences with humanities. I was speaking to Shaki that for India, it's very new. I mean, we are very happy working in our own groups, but working across groups and also working between universities is challenging, but it's happening, that's for sure. Inclusion of non-academic partners much earlier, as I said earlier. Linking with other grants and exploring access to data and resources. This was one of the important elements, and a lot of time is lost if we do not do this homework earlier in the process. And there is a lot of data available in India. I mean, I think Dr. Marwa told me in one of these meetings is that there's so much of data, but there's so less information on where is this data located. That is something that we have to work further. And also what I missed with the Age Globe grant was there was not a conference or a seminars where we could interact with other grantees about it, about what did they learn and what did they find in this process. That may be something interesting to take on for the next round. And a database of social science researchers or research groups in India and EU, in the sense that to go beyond your comfort zone and to find other people to work with. You get new ideas, you get new opportunities to work with. And that's difficult. And I was speaking to one of our colleagues from Portugal, is that I would love to work with Portuguese researchers, but I don't know where do I start. That would be something nice to develop as a database. I think there's some idea to develop a portal. That's an excellent initiative. So that's our team from Age Globe. And if you have questions, I'll be happy to take. Thank you.